Hello everybody and welcome back to The Ordinary Critics. I am Isaac.
And I'm Mark Ryan Anderson.
And today we have a special guest with us.
Hey, how's it going?
They're not going to respond to you.
Happy belated Rex Manning Day.
Happy belated Rex Manning Day. So we were on a little hiatus, The Ordinary Critics, for a little bit. But we're back. And we're just a couple ordinary guys reviewing extraordinary movies. And today we have a treat for you. It was just announced last week that Empire Records is becoming a musical in development for 2020. So we went back and we watched the movie, and we're going to bring you a WTF segment, Watch the Film. And so we're going to go through, give you our general thoughts and reactions, and that's about it. So we're going to start with a very general overview, spoiler-free version of the plot. Go.
Basically, the story is all about this place called Empire Records that is located in this city in Delaware that is owned by this surrogate father figure whose employees are all kind of like coming-of-age teenagers, like very a la mid-90s.
Right, it's kind of like a little bit of Breakfast Club.
It's Breakfast Club with a little more drugs. Like it's a little bit more drugs.
For real though. And basically it's just a day in the life of this record store, but then you find out that the record store is getting bought out by another record company, and so the kids are trying to figure out how to stop that from happening.
Yeah, and the main crux of it happens when one of the characters, Lucas, played by Rory Cochrane, has his first opportunity to close the store.
Yes.
And when he's closing the store, he realizes that the store is about to be sold to a music town, which is the franchise, that nobody wants that to happen because it gets rid of the eclectic feel of the store and all of their jobs with it, because it's like no kids with tattoos, no kids with revealing clothing, shit that they all have.
It's very, very clean cut.
Yeah, so Lucas decides to take the day's cash receipts, which totals about $9,000, and he rides his motorcycle to Atlantic City, where he's hoping to quadruple the money.
Right.
So he ends up doubling the money in a game of dice. He puts it all down, and the girl comes up, he's like, I like your style. And he rolls perfect 7. He's like, what do I have to roll to double this money? And he's like, a 7. He's like,
okay.
7. Happens.
Great.
And then he's like, I'll let it ride.
And everyone's like, ooh.
That's $18,000, son. And he lets it ride. Snake eyes. Money's gone. He sleeps on his motorcycle, and hilarity ensues. Lucas!
And that happens within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
And then it's like 20.
Everything beyond that. So from here on out, there are spoilers until the very, very end, where we rate all the sections of the movie. We will try to keep that spoiler-free too. But there are spoilers in the rest of the movie. In the rest of this movie.
Click the annotation below.
Yeah, it'll be in the comment. It'll go all the way to the end. We do actually do that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so spoilers from here on out. So the rest of the plot, there are so many different elements to this story. It is Rex Manning Day in the shop. So Rex Manning is coming to sign for the locals. He just dropped his new album.
It's worth noting that this all occurs in the span of one day.
Right.
One single
all
day.
of the events of this movie
after
are
he loses
one
the money.
day. Yes, the day after he loses all the money. So Rex Manning Day happens. Oh God.
They have the fundraiser.
AJ is like trying to profess his love for one of the girls in the store. That same girl is trying to
lose her virginity
to Rex Manning.
Who's played by Anthony LaPaglia.
Yeah. And
LaPaglia?
I don't know. We can figure it out. And then there's what's his name? Mark. Mark is like, I'm starting a band. And there's this funny scene where he's like, okay, what are you gonna name it? He's like, I was thinking like Mark, but like with a C instead of the K.
So they don't mix it.
So they don't mix it up. Then you also have Deb, who you find out has like bandages on her wrist. She's going through a really hard time. She like shaves her head the morning of in the store. Everyone's like, what is happening? So each of these characters has like their own little separate subplot going on, but it all ties in directly with like the craziness that is
Rex Manning Day.
Rex Manning Day. But it's Rex Manning Day.
And that's one of the parts I love too. No, this film decides when it wants to break its own rules.
Yeah.
It has characters like Mark, who after determining that they're they're gonna pick. All right, who gets to pick the soundtrack for the day? And when they open the store, and he gets the Orange Skittle, and it's like Orange Skittle. He goes to change the music, and the second he starts singing, he's like, da 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 da, straight at the camera, and you're like, what the hell is this movie?
Right,
like,
right into
no one
it.
is breaking the
And
fourth wall since then.
Right, it's the first time it happens. It's not the last time it happens.
No, and the characters switch up who does it.
Right, and it's not just like a trope with one character. It happens kind of randomly throughout the movie, which I kind of enjoy because it's like they're including the audience into the madness of Rex Manning Day.
Well, seriously, no, it's like all of this bad shit happens, and then Mark just goes to the audience, runs down the stairs, he's like, but it's Rex Manning Day. How can we get down?
Right.
Like, what a perfect summer coming of age romp for like if you're a teen in that era to watch that and be like, you're like, ah, shit, my dog died, but it's Rex Manning Day.
Right.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
This too shall pass.
Right.
As my great grandmother once said.
It's true. This too shall pass. Was she the first person to coin that phrase?
She was the first person to pass.
Interesting. Anyway, so they find out that like Music Town is buying them out, and the store manager was trying to raise enough money to kind of like become a partner in the situation, so that Music Town didn't buy them out, but it loses all the money because of Lucas, and then all of the events happen. All the craziness happens in the day. There's so many different events. Go check it out. You'll love it. But then at the end of the movie, they put on this fundraiser. It's actually Mark's idea. He's like, because they have a shoplifter come into the store, and which is this dreamy little kid Warren, and he like ends up leaving but then comes back like with a gun.
A series of events where he ends up almost shooting up the place.
Right.
And then the newscasters who come to report on the scene they're taking him away. But Mark's like, no, wait.
Mark's like, wait, I have an idea to raise a bunch of money. And he's like, hey, everybody, there's a free concert, donations. Like, help save the story. He's like, hey, guys.
Hey, I was a witness. Let me talk about the crime. And he's like, hey, we've got a fundraiser going on. Be sure to come on down.
So basically the entire town ends up coming, and they raise enough money to save the store. And it's a very happy ending.
It's a great ending.
It's a great ending.
Favorite moment?
My favorite moment? Oh, it's got to be Mark trips out.
No, that's my favorite moment. You can't talk about that.
You can talk about that.
It's the best moment in the film. It's bar none. So Mark is daydreaming, and it literally has nothing to do with anything. He's what point is it?
He's eating a brownie. He
eats a
brownie.
Was he with the foreknowledge of it being
I'm sure.
A special brownie? A cancer-killing brownie, as they say?
Sure.
Cancer-killing?
Yeah,
super brownie?
Keep it PG.
Is it PG? I've said shit a lot.
I know.
Are you leaving it?
We'll leave that out. Right, so he eats a special brownie. And he's sitting on the couch watching
Gwar! He's watching a music video of Gwar!
And Gwar's like playing, and then all of a sudden
he's eating his special brownie. He's watching Gwar play a song. He's eating this special brownie, and he's just like, oh, this is really good. And then he just looks and he's like, hey, Mark! On the TV screen.
He's like,
you really like us, huh? Why don't you come play with us? Play us a number. And he's like, and then he's both there.
He's watching himself
play with lead guitar with Gwar, who I don't know if you know what Gwar looks like, but it's basically like
heavy metal.
It's in the Slipknot vein. I wouldn't say the same genre. Sure. There's gonna be some purists out there that would probably flame me for that.
Probably. But then to finish off the hallucination.
Why would he be hallucinating?
The lead singer of Gwar is like, hey, that was great, but too bad you have to die now. Then this monster,
this giant Audrey 2
comes out and like eats him.
And Mark's just watching like
he's just like, what is happening?
I'm watching my own death. It's glorious, and it lasts like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's too long. It's too long.
The whole movie's too long, considering it feels like a 5-hour movie. Sure. In the best way.
Yes.
It feels like a pot brownie of a movie. It's Breakfast Club
meets
if they brought
a rock and roll band.
Well, Breakfast Club had a good soundtrack.
It did. No, but I'm saying like just
forget about me. I think that's worth noting too. This critics when this film came out, critics hated this film. It made about $300,000 in the U.S. box office, and it was critically panned. They hated it. They called it a soundtrack in search of a movie.
Right.
And they're not wrong.
Which is true.
They're not wrong at all. The soundtrack the sound is mixed in such a way that the dialogue plays through, and then the sound at a very loud noise, at very loud levels, and then all of a sudden when the music comes in, it's just like on 11, like
crazy. And we'll get to soundtrack in a little bit. Let's move on to the cast. Okay. I love this cast. They were cast perfectly. Each character and each actor brought the quirk that was necessary to make each character distinguishable, which I really appreciated. You never got confused of like this whole like love triangle thing. You never got confused of like, oh, who is this and who, I don't remember like who these people are.
Because one girl shaved her head, so you're like, all right, that's...
Right, great. And one guy is crazy, one guy is like the typical jock.
And one guy's Renee Zellweger.
Right.
Yeah. Excellent performance by young Renee Zellweger.
Yeah,
out of the females, she definitely took it from me.
Absolutely, she was great. But yeah, it's just they were very distinguishable, and I really appreciated it. And I loved each quirk and each trope that each actor gave.
Lucas, played by Rory Cochrane, is absolutely unforgiving. In his seeming stupidity. It's
hilarious. It's like he takes everything. He doesn't understand sarcasm. So when like someone would be like, "Okay, you can't leave this couch," he'd be like, "Okay."
He's touching the cushion like
at all times, or like to get up and go somewhere, he'll take a cushion and move.
Joe, the manager, played by Anthony LaPaglia, is like, "Where's the money, Lucas?" And he's like, "Joe, it's gone." And he's like, "Where is it gone?" He's like, "It's in Atlantic City.
It's in Atlantic City.
It's in Atlantic City." And he's like, "Is it coming back?" And he's like,
No, it's probably in circulation by now.
It could be in other places. Like he's just so unforgivingly
dry.
He's on the spectrum in the best way. Like he's a brilliant character.
Yes, absolutely.
And you just can't help but love him, even though he does so much stupid shit.
Yeah, it's so bad. All right, so there's the thoughts on the cast.
Continuity!
So we're up to continuity and immersion. I had no problem getting into this movie and staying involved in the world because there's so much going on at all times. For one day. They're trying to cram everything in one day. So I didn't have a problem with like getting involved and getting...
No, it was never a question either, because this movie's such a trip that you're either on board or you're not from the get-go. The second that Mark looks straight into the camera and is like, "It's Rex Manning Day," you're like, "Oh, okay. I know what I'm getting myself into. The soundtrack is making my roommate come out and tell me shh." But then he's like, "Actually, no, that's pretty good."
But yeah, I had no problem with it. There were no big like factors that like took me out of the movie.
No, it moves so fast that you can't even notice continuity.
Right.
It's like, I mean, it lasts one day, with the exception of the Atlantic City prior, and that's. You can excuse anything, because the events of one day can happen in almost any order, leading up to the arrival of Rex Manning.
Absolutely.
Which is this like coming to God moment when he finally shows up. He's such a schlep. Yeah. He's such an absolute, like just like this like probably underage girl is just like, "Hi Rex," and he's like, "Hey baby," and he's such an oily used car salesman of a person.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Oh, he's a used car salesman.
He's such a B-lister. It's so great.
Yeah. All right, cinematography is up next. It wasn't anything crazy that happened.
No,
it's in the film in 95.
It's filmed in 95.
So it's using actual film instead of digital, which is kind of cool to like go back in that nostalgic era and do that. The only thing that was like true like cinematography for me was the trip with Mark. Kind of.
With the trip? No, I don't think
with the trip, but it's just like there was nothing like this like you're in like a record store.
There's no Stanley Kubrick frames. Like everything is made exactly as the teen movie. It gives off the feeling, whether intentional or not, that there's all these kids there, and then there's a guy with a handy cam with them.
Right. Yeah. It's just
and it gives that perfect feeling. Like you don't watch it thinking like, "Oh, I have to pay attention. This is high art."
No, like, it's very like everything is force fed to you. Like if you're looking at the screen right now, this is what you should be looking at.
And there's
nothing-
80,000 things going on, so the next time you watch it,
you're gonna find something different.
Like, oh.
So, next up, finally, we got soundtrack. Yeah, like we stated before, the soundtrack led this movie. There would be points where, yeah, Mark got to pick the album of the day, and it was just because he picked the Orange Skittle. He'd throw it on, and everybody's like singing and dancing, and they would play tribute songs to different employees, and be like, "Oh, Joe, this one's for you," and then like played like "I need all this money" and stuff. Like it just like oh, that sucks. But yeah, it was very soundtrack based. But I didn't leave the theater singing a song. But I had a very nice like.
Oh, it wasn't your era. Let me pull up the soundtrack.
Call me young.
It wasn't my era either.
No, but it was still it's good music.
When do you think I was
It is. I know when you were born. It's good music. It's fun, it's entertaining, it pushes the plot forward. Because Rex Manning is there for Rex Manning Day, obviously, but because he just dropped his new album, or his new single, so that is why he is there. So the plot is very music-based.
Yeah, and again, they called this a soundtrack in search of a movie, and when you look at the trailer, that is literally, when this movie came out at this time, they were like, "Hey guys, come see this cool romp," and half the trailer is like, we've got Better Than Ezra, Cracker, The Cranberries, Evan Dando, Big Star, like,
yeah, just like
the whole thing is just like with the music of, and like you went
that's
there.
All you care about. That's all you care.
And
about.
Matt, you went to this movie in the drive-thru to make out with your girl to good rock and roll.
Absolutely.
Like that's what this movie is, and that's why it has its cult following.
Absolutely. All right, so we are going to get on with the report card. As you know, it is a WTF segment, so we have a little bit different of a grading scale. So, on a scale of let's watch paint dry to drop everything and watch this movie right now, we are giving it...
It's Rex Manning Day.
It's Rex Manning Day.
But it's Rex Manning Day.
Take that for what you will. It's Rex Manning Day.
So, it means life's going to end someday, but you might as well have some fun before it does.
Enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked what we do, click the like button, hit that subscribe button. More will be coming soon.
Which like button do I hit? The one with the up or the down?
The thumbs up. The up vote.
I like both buttons.
Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And Mark Ryan will be around. I'm here always. Carlos is coming back eventually. I don't know who we're gonna have on next week or what movie. But Avengers is coming out and Deadpool's coming out and all these good movies are coming out soon. So get ready, stay tuned, and we will see you next time. And as always, stay ordinary.